War is old, so is sex. Let's play God. You go next. Hands go up. Men go down. Try my luck. Stand my ground. Die in church. Live in jail. Say her name twice in hell. Uncle Sam kissed a man. Jim Crow Jesus rose again. I like my woman in the kitchen. I teach my children superstitions. I keep my 2 guns on my blue nightstand. I pray the young thing she could wash my clothes, but she'll never ever wear my pants. I pledge allegiance to the flag, learn the words from my mom and dad. Cross my heart and I hope to die with a big old piece of American pie. Love me, baby. Love me for who I am. Fallen angels, sing and clap your hands. Don't try to take my country. I will defend my land. I'm not crazy, baby. No, I'm American. I'm American. I'm American. There's no shimmy for that, actually. When you actually think about what's happening as an American, girl, I wish we could Americans, fuck. Yeah. Please, I'll say please when I say this. Please. No, fuck a please. Let your... Peep this. I'm gonna be real specific about saying this. Let your fellow black person hate on white people right now. Okay. Honestly, to really be sincere and transparent in this video, because it's not just a goof. I may be giggling, but it's not a joke. This I guess now I am realizing, to anyone that identifies as a black person, I don't have any parameters for that. I think that's kind of absurd and bizarre. And also, race is already a construct, so girl, it's like, fit yourself into the construct. Second of all, I predominantly grew up, my first part of my childhood was like white Christian spaces, and then just white middle class, lower middle class spaces. That's my background all the way up until 18. So honestly, however you feel about this video, just know that for the rest of my life, I will continue to live freely as a black person to make up for my childhood and how much I wasn't protected as a black girl, as an African girl, as a dark-skinned girl, as a queer black woman, all the things. So, and that's really why I'm making this video. I'm making this video because I'm like, and actually this issue actually started when I was in New York City. New York City of all places. But girl, I was in Manhattan, so figures. Just this thing of like, I'm not saying to call these folks crackers randomly for no fucking reason, I feel that words should be used when they're warranted, should have some purpose, that's just the type of person I am. But when I was in New York and I was amongst people around my age, like 23 was kind of the group I was around, right? And it's just the thing of how everyone's trying to be fair on this equality type shit. And it's just like, and I got to a point in New York where I was just like, listen. I can have patience for any other kind of person of color. Even people who are racially ambiguous, even people who are white passing. I can have grace for them. But if you're telling me, look at me, y'all. Look at me. That's the example, right? This fool, probably lighter, straighter hair, because Steven has an afro. That's maybe why I fuck with him. That was a Freudian slip. Anywho, it's just the thing of when I'm clocking, I'll put it simply. I won't even get into too deep with this, because then I want to have things to cite. If I'm actually going to bring up certain people, I want to have things to cite. But basically, I grew up loving the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. May his soul rest in peace. Because, of course, he was I don't even have to say what we all know, right? But I went from that to transitioning to learning about the late, great Tupac Amaru Shakur to being on my Malcolm X shit. Like, that was that. Well, actually, now I'm thinking about it. It was like MLK, Kendrick Lamar, Tupac, some Malcolm X shit. And, like, then Angela Davis. Ooh. Oh, my God. So on this, like, black radicalness, I believe, and I know, just as a black person with my experience and how much I was deprived from and how much I just didn't know, not only because I grew up in a predominantly white area, but because my parents are immigrants. So they grew up in a place where they were completely homogenous. They were not aware that they would have to also guide their children of how to navigate these spaces. Again, at the time, I doubt anyone was talking about race and social inequalities and microaggressions at that time. That's kind of like my background and like getting to New York, and then my point being on like Malcolm X, Angela Davis, Asada Shakur, rest in peace. Whew, yeah, it's just that I don't even have the time to like, because it got to a point where I was in high school where like I would have friends, and it's like you learn something and you want to be closer to your friends, you want to give these folks a chance, right? And like so like I've had experience in breaking down, and at the time I didn't know probably half as much as I know now, but just breaking down microaggressions, racism, at least to the white people around me who wanted to know. Because I was definitely not going to go off about that shit with white people talking about they racist against white people. I got that. And it's wild because I'm learning about, just like in suspecting I'm neurodivergent, it's wild what people think they can say to you just because you're not like responding or outwardly saying that's whack. Because I'm just an observer. I listen and I take notes. You don't always have to say everything. In having that experience growing up and just having to break down like microaggressions, and even in a tad bit, like not even going on to some debate stuff. It's just now I was 22 when I was in New York. I was like 21. No, I was 22. And I was just around some people that, it was a lot of people of color, but there was just one white person who was just, and again, like, I'm not surprised this happens. I'm not surprised that people are indoctrinated and undereducated still to this day, even with the internet. And with my background, with my upbringing, no wonder I was going to be perceptive to this, rather than this particular person isn't really close with their family and they've only really been here. They don't have that perspective. And they were just like, in a genuine way, just like, I don't understand how like I'm being ignorant. I don't even want to like try to recall this specific situation. I think it's a waste of my energy. But basically they had just been ignorant. They had just been unaware of white privilege. That was what it is. They've been aware of white privilege. Then there was like this man who's basically mediating. First of all, bitch, no one asked him to. Second, because I was just talking to this person, and I consider them a friend, because again, I grew up with friends who like, I don't know why I whispered that, but who just like really, weren't on. So it's like, this isn't my first rodeo, but it's like, the male thing of like, let me jump in here. And it's like, this is why I'd rather be alone. This is why I'd rather not talk. It's not even on some, this man is silencing me. Girl, I'm trying to protect my peace. I'm trying to hold on to my energy, girl. I have other things to do. But it was just the thing of them just not understanding white privilege, or how they still have privilege even though they came from just a very hard situation, an objectively hard situation, and just coming from not having a lot of money, basically being in poverty. They just couldn't understand that. And again, I can have empathy for that. In that instance, see, this is where I'm like, and I can have empathy, bro, because if you really never, and like to this person, I know they weren't bullshitting me. But then what was crazy is that this man who's mediating, he's a person of color, right? And I only bring that up because he was just trying to make it seem, because he's also a person of color, that he has the authority to make it seem like we should both hear each other out and the shit should be equal. And this is what pisses me off, because it's like, I know not everyone is going to know as much as I do about anti-blackness, but it's like, bitch, then don't try to make it seem like this is some easy resolvable issue. When I'm giving you pushback, don't take it as like, oh my God, it's like, I can't. Not only to the ancestors, my ancestors, American ancestors, like, I can't anymore. That was really the last time. And I only really got into that conversation because, like, the white person in question, one, was being genuine. Like, if they really confused and they're trying to understand, I can sort of entertain that. But just that But, like, to make it a whole thing of, like, it kind of reminded me of how, like, people were like, oh, I don't see color. Or, like, how people talks about racism probably back in the late thousands and tens. Of, like, like, the black person struggles with racism. And, like, that's a thing. And then the white person also struggles with this. And that's, like, making it, like, this, like, equal footing when it's not that. It's not even like he was on some male shit because he's a gay man. And I say this to say that, like, that's a distinction I want to make clear for how this man is perceived. So maybe, and, like, girl, I'm gonna be honest, bro, because we're not gonna get anywhere if we're not honest. That's not my first time where a gay man really thought he had authority to also feel that he's on equal footing with me because he's a gay man. And let me just ask gay men this. Gay men, just because you're gay, does that mean you know anything about being black? Y'all don't even say black. Y'all still say African American. Anywho, I was just like... So the video just kind of stems from that. It's just... But, like, now thinking about it recently, I haven't had a fellow black person really clock me on anything. If anything, I've had 2 black men. That's why I love black people. This is why you will not catch me on some anti-black shit, bro. Even if I may be mad at men, bro, but I'm still for the brothers. I am, though. I am. That's just a part of me. It's not my choice in many different ways. From gay men and black men, and then when they're both. Anywho, not me watering people's identities down, y'all. I'm not this calculated. I'm not. It's based on trauma. Anywho, these 2 black men, when I went out, is these 2 black men, and they were just like, I love us. They were just like, why are you talking to these white people, bruh? And I was like, I grew up around them. Like, they were asking me about they were like getting political with me, and they're like, don't waste your time, girl. They're like, don't waste your time, sister. They're like, get back in there, have a good time. I'm like, I see you, brother. So actually, my most recent experience, he was just telling me, he's like, girl, don't even do it. Have fun. You came out here to have fun. And I was like, yeah. Yeah, brother. You're right, brother. You're right. He clocking tea fast. Black men can do that. I just feel that we are experiencing a time in the States where we're regressing. That also involves anti-blackness. It also involves humiliation rituals with the BAFTA situation, with Cat's Eye. Granted, like, I'm not even in Gen Z news. Y'all, when Ice Spice was coming up, I didn't even know what the fuck my cousin was talking about because I had been off TikTok for months. So when I tell you I'm trying to be aware of just trying to be out of it, I'm out of it. But I bring up those 2 points to just further get my point across. My main point of just, like, we need to stop, like, trying to be fair. Like, I don't think I need to think about being fair to white people. I don't. And again, like, I try to just be considerate of everyone on the basis of their humanity, right? But if there is something happening to where my group is being... And again, I say it's my group because the construct of race does still exist. Though I understand that really the only race we are is the human race, and I understand from a scientific point, doesn't absolve the fact that I still live in this society where people, like, I filled out job applications today, and, like, I'll be asked my race. And you put black or African American, even though scientifically we're just a human race. But that goes into history and just, divide and conquer and all that. But it's just the thing of, like, I just feels black, like, we have also been conditioned to be very forgiving, to let shit go. So I'm saying to my generation, to millennials, because, like, y'all are right there with us, like, y'all are kind of in a similar boat, but kind of, like, 30s and things like that. It's just like, bruh, I'm not saying be hateful to white people. I'm not saying to come for people just because they're white. But I'm just saying that we shouldn't feel bad about calling out anti-blackness at the expense of white people feeling uncomfortable. That's what was pissing me off in New York. That a man of color was trying to, like, be like, hey, you're making the white person feel uncomfortable. Bitch, I know. They made me uncomfortable for 18 years. And it's not even on some let me get my lick back. But it's like, why don't we ever think about the fact that white people... There was this discourse probably a few weeks ago, maybe it was early in the month, about how people having their racist phase. But we don't think about the fact that, like, black kids are also kids too. Taking that in. And we well, not specifically not me, because I had immigrant parents. They didn't know about the N-word, and like I have stories about just like not knowing that shit. But like a typical Black American growing up in America, they usually have a talk or a conversation with their parents, right? So we're instantly just seen as more adult-like, because we just have to bear the burden of racism, and the white kids just get to express that, right? And it's just like, bruh, let them feel uncomfortable. It's not a crime to feel uncomfortable. I'm not grabbing a whip and fucking getting the white person because they were like, I don't understand white privilege. Bruh, if they really want to figure that shit out, they wrote books on it. They could watch a damn YouTube video. Nigga, watch a TikTok. I'm not even on that shit anymore, but I know y'all still are. I just can't how white supremacy still shows up. And it's a lot of internalized white supremacist ideals. And I get that we all have that inside of us. Me to a certain extent. It still affects how I see and view myself. But to tell another person of color to just like, you know, like have some compassion. Ooh, I was already pissed off in New York. I'm getting pissed off all over again. No one's asking for white people to like go to hell and back, bro. But like, let them reckon with what their ancestors did. Let them reckon with the system that still exists. Let them reckon with the fact that they really voted on this. Okay? Let them feel that. Because we're never going to get anywhere if we're still calling white people for what? For what? To be fair? To look like we're virtuous because we're like the middleman? I don't know. Maybe this is some men shit. I don't know. Because like women are not on this time. No white women are in this time. Women of color usually are. I've not ran into a woman of color that's like on that. Usually it's men of color or white women. So, or other white men, you know, whatever. But that was just that on that. So again, to end this upload, I'm not pushing for hate on white people. I have white friends. Like, I grew up around them. Like, we like this. Fishtail braids. I used to know how to do that. Not anymore. All of this to say in closing, just let Black Americans, let Black people, Black women, Black men, Black trans women, Black non-binary people, Black trans femme people, Black everyone, Black disabled people, let us have our moment. Let us feel our rage. Let us be like, we fucking told you so, bitch. Niggas. Ooh, let us have this, okay? And also, if you are anyone, person of color, white person, whomever, just not Black, before you come or start vilifying any Black person, just take a moment to really think, do I have an understanding of anti-Blackness? Am I understanding what's happening? Do I understand microaggressions and how that can affect someone at this time? Let's give ourselves grace. So this is for people who fit in the BIPOC identity, white people, but I guess what the title pertains to is just like Black people checking other Black people. But now I guess I think about it as more so like people of color checking Black people. But I don't run into that a lot. That situation in New York was a one singular situation. And for the most part, other people of color I met understand anti-Blackness. I don't think they would say it like that. But they have an understanding that when a Black person is racially discriminated against, it's usually more aggressive, more dehumanizing than any other race. So again, when I was in New York, I definitely ran into men like that. But there was just this one man. And again, I think I just brought up his sexuality to just bring up the point where, especially men, whenever they just have a part of their identity that just doesn't conform to the highest of the hierarchy, the cishet white standard, they really feel absolved of any harm they could be doing against a Black person. And we just need to cut that shit out. And that's it. Equity is not a bad thing. It's not wrong for me to feel inclined to speak more about this group than the other. And I just want to remind ourselves that. And I think anyone that knows me and sees what I make and what I create knows that it's not just fuck you, white man, even though it's always fuck you, white man. But like, not fuck you, white man. Like a white man's watching this. Anyway.
Oh my God.
Who knows? Anything goes. Sutton Foster. Let me end it like that. Toodaloo. Hey y'all. Editing me coming in quick. I definitely wanted to make this a longer segment and really get into the depth of this situation because it is, this is entirely serious. This is not any jokey joke. I recently got connected to someone who is in Gaza right now, and we have just been having a back and forth and just exchanging information, just seeing what I can do to just offer my support. And I'm not filming today, so that's why I'm just like, I want to record this to put in this video and probably the next upload too. But when I get back to filming, I want to really, sit with this moment. But for this upload, I just wanted to shout out Anaz and just put his QR code right here. I'm also going to put a link to his GoFundMe down below. And also I'm going to put a link to his Instagram profile down below, and he just kind of shares his story a little bit. And actually earlier today he wrote a statement, and it was just perfect, and I'm just looking forward to when I'm recording again to really sit with it and just put it in every upload. I don't think I'm famous. I don't think a lot of people are giving me attention, but I know there are people watching this. I know people enjoy my personality, and then if there's anything I can do to help anyone who's just, the history and what, since October 7th and just getting into that, it's just very heavy, but I will get more into it. But I just wanted to put a little thing for him in this upload. And yeah, just check out his profile, and that's all. And now I just have a little blooper because Jim Crow Jesus was getting me. Okay, bye y'all. Uncle Sam kissed a man. Jim Crow Fuck. Okay, here we go. Uncle Sam kissed a man. Jim Crow. I'ma get this for Janelle. There's no way I'ma flop on Janelle. Hold on now. Now I'm locked in. Now I'm locked into the power of black girl magic. Hold on. I'm locked in. Okay. Row. Okay.